What is up, rivals? Welcome back to yet another episode of Rival the Kingdom! My name is Sawcasm, and today we are going to take a look at every single fire ancient in the game. There's only 4, so I don't know why I made it seem like there's so many. I made it sound like that, but we're going to take a look at every single one of them. This is more of a general overview and kind of opinion-based rather than, more of a guide like my individual ancient videos. So check those out if you want, and leave a like rating if you do enjoy it. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel grow. Subscribe if you are new for some more Rival Kingdoms I post every single day. And with that said, let's get into the fire ancients. Alright, so the fire ancients are my absolute favorite in the game, hands down. Like, absolutely. I just want to give them all a hug and kiss, except for Jal, because he looks like if he hugged me, his little pincers or claws would just absolutely wreck me. So let's take a look at Jal. First of all, one of my favorite ancients as of recently, and yeah, he's an epic ancient, so some of you guys may not have him, but we'll get into all the ancients in a second. So first skill is Scorching Heat. Shuts down a spell tower for a certain amount of time while dealing a little bit of damage, but really good. Oasis creates a protective area that heals friendly units inside for a certain amount of damage a second and renders them immune to common debuffs. So mainly uses a heal skill, but also can prevent some debuffs. Finally, Darkened Skies, which summons up a whirling sandstorm. Enemies within are slowed by 50% and take damage per second over 5 seconds. So it doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but that times 5 is actually pretty solid. So yeah, pretty cool skill set because right now poison towers are so strong, reduces healing, and they're all over. They're so annoying. So by using Scorching Heat, we can lock them down and really prevent them from absolutely owning us and disallowing us from healing. And also for the Fire Ancient, their spell tower spell is Flame Bolt, which deals damage and deals an additional damage over 3 seconds into the form of a burn. So pretty good. Not my preferred go-to spell tower ancient right now. That will be in a separate video. But with that said, let's get into some attacks with Jal. Okay guys, so we are using Jal for this purposes. Of course, this is a really good base to demonstrate because they do have 2 death spell towers, Cursed Touch, which prevent us from healing, and we can potentially lock it down. So one thing to note about the Scorching Heat spell is if you plan on locking down any spell tower, you kind of want to get the hang of the general range of them real quick before you start the game. So what I would do before you start the attack, so what I would do is actually just press it. You see, you get a general idea. Okay, it comes out to this wall. That means as soon as our troops come in this general area, if this is the spell tower we're going to lock down, that is when we're going to use the Scorching Heat right before they enter that AoE. So we're going to do an attack from this side, and depending on how this goes, we may or may not need to do that. So I'm going to place it down, my paladins down right on the maulers as soon as they are getting hit. They're not in range yet of the spell tower. Okay, so they get hit by the poison, or the death tower rather, so we're not going to be able to heal those troops, those frontline troops yet, but what we're going to do is put our Darkened Skies right on the stronghold along with the surrounding buildings over there. Going to place the Scorching Heat right on this spell tower. Now keep in mind, it doesn't last forever. It does come off before it actually, you sometimes can destroy the spell tower. So just something to keep in mind. There we go. Get all the gold. Bada bing, bada boom. So glad those catapults were upgrading. That is super useful. That's pretty much it. Let's get into the next ancient. So the next ancient is Sulric, probably my most used ancient, and maybe a lot of you guys too, because you do start with him. So let's take a look at his skills real quick. His first spell is Rain of Fire. It rains fire down. Oh, who would have guessed? Upon a location, dealing 4 waves of damage for a total of damage. So Blackened Armor, which has the damage from all spell towers, it grants immunity to their debuffs for 10 seconds. Now this is really awesome once again for the death towers, which right now are running rampant. They're so strong, but I do feel like sometimes it doesn't work against the death spell tower. I'm not sure if that's a bug or that's intended or I'm just using it wrong. I don't know, but based on the description of this spell, it should be working against the death spell towers. For some reason, I just noticed sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It might be glitched. I don't know. Next one is Greater Fire Elemental. Summons 1 Greater Fire Elemental. Level does scale up with the level of Sulric, ignoring deploy zone restrictions. You can place it anywhere, even if you don't destroy walls. You can literally, as soon as you get a Greater Fire Elemental, you can just place it right at the stronghold if you want. You can place it right in their face if you want. You can place it anywhere. So yeah, pretty good. Really good ancient. I think the fire ancients are probably some of the best in the game right now. I would definitely say that they're up there as far as viability. So let's get to attack with Sulric. Alright, his base looks super easy. One thing to note real quick, his first spell, Rain of Fire, is something I really only use to finish off super low health targets, or maybe if all my troops are dead, I'll just use it on a gold smelter or gold storage, just get a little bit extra gold or something like that, but pretty much it just never gets used because his other spells are so good, especially the Greater Fire Elemental. You place it anywhere, so it's just absolutely huge. And the blackened armor can be huge depending on when you get the 10 mana. So if the spell towers are right in front of the base where you're attacking, you're probably not going to have enough mana to use it then until you get later in the base, in which case I'll just save up for the greater fire elemental and keep spamming those. So let's go for the attack over here. Place our maulers down, place my wardens a little too close, but that is okay as the paladins will be able to heal them up. They are frozen right now, taking some damage. Paladins doing a good job of keeping them healed up though. We almost have our greater fire elemental, so like I said, you can place it anywhere. So you really want to place it on those high damage targets, high value targets, be it a death spell tower or something like that. Just something that could absolutely mess your day up. And there are oftentimes a lot of things that you run into in base like that. And there you go, guys. So just keep spamming the greater fire elementals as you get them. Make sure you use your other abilities, kind of more situational, and you should be good. So with that said, let's get into the next one. All right, so next up is Nocti. Once again, yet another ancient that I absolutely love. So it's just something about the fire ancients. Maybe it's just opinion, but I just absolutely love the fire ancients. I did a full, more detailed guide on them on Nocti and Solric as well, but I also did Nocti, so check that out if you haven't already, because it's more specific of a guide. This is kind of just my opinion and general overview of the fire ancients. So first spell, Sandstorm, creates a raging sandstorm. Enemies within are slowed by 50%, take a little damage over 5 seconds. So the 50% slow is really only for enemies spawned by bunkers. Some people are confused by that, but in case you guys don't know, the bunker defense spawns out troops, and then this could slow them. So pretty good against that in certain situations, but like I said, this is kind of like the fireball of Solric. I really only use it to finish off low health targets, get a little extra gold. His next spell, Fire Elemental, summons 2 fire elementals. They are a little bit weaker, but you get 2 of them, so really good. I think all summons in this game, any ancient that has a summon, their summon spell is super good, except for Erasmus, kind of not so good, especially early on. Later on, it gets really good, but early on, those illusions aren't so good. But, you know, the rest of them pretty good. Breath of Ra, a charge of solar energy blasts an area, causing a huge amount of damage to all buildings within it. So this does cast after a couple seconds, but then it just does a huge explosion. It's so epic, does a ton of damage. You get 2 of these. If you get 30 mana, you could pretty much take out a whole group of buildings at once. So super awesome. Let's get into attack with him. So we're on this pretty cool base, pretty standard Stronghold 10-ish base design here. Maybe something that I'll be working on in the future in the form of variation of this type of base. But let's get into the attack. So we are going to attack from this side. We're going to place our maulers down, followed by our wardens as usual. And Mauler's holding up pretty well, surprisingly. The Paladin's not really doing too much healing, but we're going to place our Greater Fire Elemental, and kind of like Solric, we want to spam our Greater Fire Elementals and our final spell ability, which is Breath of Ra, does a ton of damage. You saw right there. Like I said, if we get 2 of those, it pretty much absolutely wrecks bases by itself and could do so much damage. You saw there, once I placed the first one and then placed the second one, took out a huge chunk of buildings and allowed our troops and our summon to do a ton of damage. So super good ancient. Love him. Love him. And last but not least, we have Emberclaw, who's actually a dragon. He is a fire dragon, pretty good. As you can see here, I barely have used him as an ancient. I've used him more as a dragon, but he's definitely pretty good and has his place as an ancient. So his first spell is Ignite, which ignites the target, dealing 8 to 10 damage a second for 12 seconds. If an affected building already exists in the area of effect, then all buildings are ignited instead. So if you use this once, it does some damage. If you use it twice on the same structure, it deals the effect on all the buildings around it in kind of an AoE. So pretty good. Does a decent chunk of damage. Of course, it does do more as you level it up. So right now, I just don't have that many. I don't have any fire Primus, so because I've been using on my other ancients, so I can't level him up, but he's still good. And his next spell is Fire Elemental, just like the previous ancients, nothing too different there. And Dragon's Blood, damage dealt to allied troops is reduced to 10%. They recover a small amount of health or a small amount of damage a second for 5 seconds. So pretty interesting skill set. I would say probably as an ancient my least favorite, but he still can be good, especially because if you do level him up, you also get the benefit of leveling up a dragon. So let's get into attack with him. All right, so not only are we using Emberclaw as an ancient, but we're also using him as a dragon for this attack in particular. So what we're gonna do is attack from the top here. Even though there are more walls, there are these catapults that if we attack from down here, we wouldn't be able to take out so quickly. So what I'm gonna do is attack from here. Let's do this. We are slammed against this wall, so all our troops are going to get hit, not only our maulers, so probably running an extra set of wardens instead of those maulers probably would have been better because we were getting hit anyway, but it's all good. Place our Ember Claw down. You see he does quite a bit of damage for a dragon, even at lower levels. His Ignite spell could be super good if you have 10 mana ready to go, as we do here, so I'm going to show you guys that. I already placed one down, and then I placed another one, and it affected all the buildings in the area. Now, like I said, right now, it's not doing so much damage because my Ember Claw isn't so leveled up, but as you level him up, you will get a pretty big spike in damage. So there we go. Look at all these troops. We have a whole army left. Wow, this guy's base sucked. All right. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like rating. I truly appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new for some more Rival Kingdoms. And like I said, it's kind of general overview. I will be doing more ancient specific guides in the future, and I have done some. Check those out. With that said, thanks for watching. Peace.